Welcome back to Conversations on a Bench. Here is the Midlands Open Door. My next guest is Victoria. Victoria has a longer history with the Open Door than I do. So, Victoria, I wanted to welcome you first of all today, and
Thank you.
then ask you to tell your story a little bit. How did you get to the Open Door? What kind of relationships have you established, and why do you keep coming back?
Great. Well, it's good to see you, Saralyn, and everyone here. I was going to say meet you because, like I
We
said,
don't run into each
we
other
don't
very
run into
often.
each other a lot. Yeah. But my background here at Midlands Open Door has just been fantastic and can't get rid of me. Yeah, I still frequent, Open Door regarding the oh regarding the whoops. Oh, all good? There you go. Um, yeah, I still come into the Open Door as far as with volunteering or just hang out and have lunch with some of the guests because, like I said, I started here in 2017, end of 2017,
Okay.
and just as a volunteer with the women's shelter.
Okay.
And it was just doing hot breakfast one Saturday a month, and then it turned into every Saturday. My daughter and I would come in every Saturday, and that was like a very welcoming thing because when the women would come in, they would say, "Are you Victoria?" I guess it was part of the intake process where they would let the guests know that on Saturday mornings you'll see someone there, and it was me. So that turned into a very, we became friends with folks. And so that was like end of 2017, early 2018. And then back then, Renee Pettinger was the director. And she had approached me that there was going to be a position, the main campus. I didn't even know this existed.
Really?
I did not. I just thought it was the women's shelter on Chippewa River. So we had coffee, and pretty much it turned kind of like this. What we're doing. This is what she said it would be. Is a lot of the folks in the community, just like volunteers and just different friends in the community would come, and they'd say, "Let's go to the door. I'll meet you at the door." So it turned into just like a, place where folks would come and meet, and that was how I came to the the main area here, and just started. We were getting tons of donations as far as like food, clothing, monetary, and then just the volunteers. A lot of folks didn't know. Like I didn't even know about this main campus. A lot of folks didn't know that this was here,
Sure.
and I was shocked. But I think it was in the first 2 weeks of being here I said there should be a Midlands Open Door in every community. I did. I remember saying those words often. Just the heart for helping the community. And it's not just the homeless folks, it's everyone. It's everyone. I mean, the big hope sign out there, everyone needs hope. And I will say for myself, I didn't realize how much I needed Open Door for so I was, everybody goes through things.
Sure.
And it really put things into perspective as far as, when you have things going on, then you come here and then you see that there's always someone else who's having a tougher time than you, but they still find a way to smile, and that helped me a lot.
I think that's a good point that the soup kitchen, and I know you spent a lot of time cooking. People think soup kitchen and they think sad.
No, yeah,
until you go in there, right?
yeah, that's true.
So people know you, right? I mean, even now you walk in there and people know you by name.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's the same thing for the soup kitchen guests who come in. We know them. They're smiling. There's laughter.
Yeah.
Good food tends to do that too.
It does.
It creates community in a way that we didn't have before.
That's true.
That's true. And I know that you do a ministry to people who need food even now.
I do. And this is still like thanks to, like I said, just knowing folks in the community and knowing, Open Door and you and everyone. Yes. that is a blessing. Open door is such a blessing. I mean, not just to like those there, it's like an extended hand to other surrounding close, our neighbors in Saginaw. And even there's oh my gosh, I can't think of the trailer park.
Oh, up in Sanford.
No,
No?
no, the one right off of Meridian Road.
Okay.
Is it called Pine?
I don't know what
Whis-
the name is. Oh, Whispering Pines.
Whispering
Yeah.
Pines. In the summertime, when there's no school, there's no lunches.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of there's some churches that do assist. I just found this out. I think it's one Monday during the summer, not the first Monday, one Monday every week that they would do provide a dinner there.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, yeah, and then our neighbors in Saginaw, you know, Saginaw's a lot. Midland is blessed to have open door. But I also say Saginaw and Bay City or the Sanford, the surrounding areas. And I'm not sure. I know that there was another place in Farwell.
Yeah, there's a soup kitchen called Stone Soup in
Yes,
Farwell. And I think that like kind of what we're getting at here is that Open Door gets a lot of donations, and sometimes we get more than we can use. And if we know that there are other people in the community, so you've been able to take some things to Saginaw. We have some volunteers that will take things up to some places in Sanford where there's a need, and out to Farwell where there's a need. And so the things that people gift to the Open Door don't just affect us.
No.
There's a ripple effect
exactly.
that then we can help others that are a little bit further out.
That's true.
So, and so there's been times that you've been able to take all kinds of things, and sometimes you've been able to take things that we have so much of.
That's the thing.
That become very useful to you. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I go to church in Saginaw Township, and it's so there are a lot of families, like I said, that I get text messages from, because I guess people know that I had worked here before, and they know that that there's I mean there's no shortage of but the commodity, the food and everything, and my background is don't let anything go to waste.
Sure.
And not just mine. I mean, it is like the motto here at Open Door, don't let anything go to waste. And we don't. And I mean, what you all use for Open Door, and then obviously there is, you still have the giveaway table or something.
We do.
Yeah.
Do.
So the things there is what we would, it was never just come and grab.
No.
Not like that. It's always, what the excess, so that it doesn't go to waste. And I know families and who've offered to them, and yeah, like I said, so I will get text messages, hey, this family needs this, or larger families and stuff. So every little bit, it does help.
Sure. Well, and it's nice to be able to know that we can help others. So even at the bridge here in town, there are times where we might get a huge amount of rice or whatever. And so then we can send some of that to the bridge so we can use that to help other people. But yeah, we try not to let things go to waste.
Absolutely.
Right? And so whether it's things that come in that are like so far out of date that we're not going to eat it. We've got a pig farmer and a chicken farmer that will take those from us. So again, not letting it go to waste. And then also when we have people who speak up, because again, we wouldn't know that you had that need if you didn't speak up.
It's true.
And if you didn't know that that was our goal anyway, to say, hey, I know the Open Door can help. Let me go see what they can do.
Yes. And that's, what I think, it's also, there's no shame in asking. I mean, there used to be like a big stigmatism with, oh, you don't want anybody to know, but we can't help if we don't know.
Right.
And getting back to the soup kitchen here, or the main here, everybody needs something, even if it's just, like I said, a smile or a hello, how you doing? Some people don't talk to people all the time, and or they, maybe don't feel included. But that's one thing that I remember when, to me, moving here to Midland and then working at the Open Door, to me, it was like a brand new start. So no one believed me when I told them that I'd never talked to anyone. I didn't know how to talk. But coming to Open Door And then I just saw the tables with everyone. I said, they don't know me. So I went and I sat down and I introduced it. Hi, my name's Victoria. What's your name? And they look up and they're, are surprised. And that's just how it started. It became easy. So there was no shame in asking, like, how can we help you? Just in anything, they didn't, if there was something that even not the way the food was prepared. A lot of folks, if they have dental issues,
Yes, that's a
we
very good
take
point.
care about that. We took care of, make sure that we were something soft.
Right. I think that's a really good point, that we do see a lot of people
Yes.
that either have their own teeth and have a lot of problems with them, or people that don't have any teeth at all.
Exactly.
And so one of the things, like if you think about food scarcity,
Yes.
and we talk a lot about the need for fruits and vegetables and stuff,
Yes.
but you can attest to the fact that if we were just giving out apples,
Oh, yeah.
we have a lot of people that could not bite into that apple.
Exactly.
And so for us, it was being considerate of how do we make sure people are getting a well-balanced meal,
Yes.
but that they can also get it into their body.
Yes. Yeah.
Because just handing someone, something hard, or even a piece of broccoli, if you have
we're doing it, we're giving them the thing, but no, it's like you said, being, courteous and just noticing those things, and preparing it in a way, like you said, that they can get it in. And then again, I'll test to the friends. I call them my friends because they still are. They would get the apples or the potatoes at different giveaways, and then they'd bring them to us.
That's true, right? Like, hey, I'd like to donate these to the
but it's
open door.
also it shows, like, like they're not just taking.
There's reciprocity.
Yes, reciprocity.
Yes,
Yeah.
my word, right?
Yeah, it's not, they want to also, they know that, we help each other. It's a way of helping each other. And I thought, hey.
And I think that's that part of when you get out of crisis, because when you're in crisis mode and you're just working like that, you're not always thinking about what's going on outside of your own life. But once people come to that place of peace,
Yes.
and they're no longer in that crisis mode, that fight or flight mode, we've created that environment for them, that friendship environment, where then all of a sudden, like as well as I do, we have another lady in the soup kitchen who's been around for a while, who always does gifts.
Yes. Oh,
right?
Yeah.
She's always looking to give you a gift.
Yes.
And so she's finding things at different places, and she's
true.
asking you about your children, or she's asking you about your likes and your favorite color. Because for her, gifts is like a love language. It's saying, I care about you, so I'm going to bring you this gift.
Yeah.
We have other people who, like you said, will bring their commodities in.
Yes.
Or that will bring that bag of potatoes that they picked up at a different giveaway to us, because they want to say, I care and I'm giving back.
I'm giving back. I'm not just taking or receiving here. And then, so then I'll ask different. It also opens up the option, for the opportunity for conversation.
For sure.
I mean, I will start with sarcasm, like, what did you bring these to me for? And then it's like, do you know how many things you can use this with? And then I'll ask them, or, just, it opens it, like I said, just conversation. And then, which is, to me, I know a lot of, I've heard a lot of folks say that, homelessness is due to the lack of the affordable housing. But I also think it's what we were just talking about, just relationship too. I mean, they burned so many bridges with, you don't know someone's situation and what got them there. I would say that everybody's one paycheck or one lost job or even, a failed marriage or relationship away from being in a homeless shelter or just being on the street. And when they do come here, like I said, just opening up the avenue of conversation, talking to them, because maybe they feel like they have nobody to talk to.
Sure.
And that's one thing that I've experienced here is they've told me their stories. And I remember telling Renee, you need to get a counselor in the kitchen, because that is where everything comes out.
Everybody tells their story.
I think it's because in the kitchen, it's a homey. You're not in a room. You're not in a closed room, in a closed room with, they feel tense maybe. as they're stirring the potatoes or making soup or frying an egg or whatever, you just start talking with them, like, hey, have you ever made this or have you done that? And they're like, yeah, and then stories would come out. So it does. And that was one of the biggest things I remember telling her is you need to get a
counselor in the
counselor in
kitchen.
the kitchen.
Well, yeah, I think isn't that part of being a cook, right?
Oh yeah,
And they cooks and hairdressers and
that's
everything.
it. Yeah, yep.
But I think the community that has been created in the soup kitchen is such a great thing to emphasize. Like if you think about, we have another soup kitchen guest who has some disability issues and has to cross Buttle Street because the bus only brings her to the BP. But who usually goes out to help her across the road?
Oh yeah,
It's usually other soup kitchen friends.
Yes.
It's not staff.
That's true.
She has made friends.
So many friends.
We've had people that have had medical emergencies in the soup kitchen that might have had a seizure. We had a gentleman walking down the hall. He was going from the kitchen down the hall toward the shift office.
Okay.
Who I don't know whether he had a seizure or what happened to him, but he just face planted, boom, on that tile, split his head open.
Goodness.
And to the point that staff wasn't sure who it was because, again, he just blood all over his face. So, I mean, we quickly figured out who it was. So we did have his name and information. But yet, to call the emergency crew to come and attend to him. But people knew, oh, that's so-and-so, or, oh, this is an issue he has because they're his friends.
I was going to say, I now work in Lansing.
It's a trek.
It is. But I received a call. I was at work and there's, my phone number's never changed. I told my daughter, I said, I'm not changing it. Once we moved, I said, it's always going to be the same. And I usually have it off, but that morning, I guess I forgot to shut the ringer off. And then it rang and I looked at it. I was like, oh my gosh, trying to shut it. And I looked and it said open door. So I immediately answered it. And it was a volunteer who called me because they wanted to know if I remembered the name of a volunteer who worked with me because you guys had the EMS was here and they needed, what name. And I was like, oh my gosh, which I did help and I did give them a contact person for him. But to me, I mean, it wasn't an issue. It was almost like, when you get an emergency phone call from your family.
Right.
And no, it's just like I said, the relationships that you build here. It's like I said earlier, I was like, no, let's come back.
Well, that you don't have to stay here. You can volunteer here.
Yep.
You can be an employee here, but we can create a family.
Come and have lunch. That's it. I have met a few people who I was like, yeah, I'll see you there for lunch. I mean, not all the time, but yeah, I have come in for lunch and it's that show Cheers when they're like, Norm.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's
that's exactly what it's like here. And you can, once you're here, you're a family.
And, I think we called you maybe last year. We were cleaning out the cabinet and we found an envelope with your name on it that had money on it.
Yes.
So at some point in time, you had trusted the open door to hold money for you, and apparently you forgot about it, we forgot about it.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a windfall a few years later. But, that is a kind of trust that we want to establish with people, whether they are, again, employees, volunteers, guests, friends that come into the soup kitchen that says, we care about you.
Right. And I know, even though, turnover and turnaround of different employees now, and like this, to me, this is new. This was something that we've opened.
I haven't done before. This is first.
No, this is first, and it's great. But it just goes to show like the importance and of outreach with the community and making everyone aware. I mean, everybody knows that you're here now, but also to just sit and talk and just take away these, I don't know, whatever someone's whatever their view of what the homeless shelter is like.
Yeah.
I used to think it's not Hallmark,
that's true.
It's not the Hallmark channel,
right?
But no, it's more, it is family,
and I think it's gritty and it's real here. True. People have real issues when they come into a homeless shelter. It's not just, hey, I think I'm going to go and spend a week at the Open Door B&B. You know, people have come in with some significant issues, but at the same time, it's developing hope with people that gives them joy.
That's true. That's true. Now this was something that I didn't share. Like I don't know if I mentioned it before, like when I worked here. But there was a time where my children and I, we were like homeless, and that was where where I said to Renee, I said, oh my gosh, I wish I knew of Open Door back in the day. I did not know it. But there was just like an issue that happened in my home. Mercury was all over the house, and
Oh boy.
we ended up having to, the health department, get out of our home around Christmas, so it was not the easiest time. And but no, and then years later, finding out that Open Door is here, I was like, oh my gosh, that was where I said there should be an Open Door in every, because they're different. It's it's a different, I'll say a style than other homeless shelters that I've been to. I have stopped at the one in Lansing. I told you I work in Lansing.
Right. Well, and they're big, and they have a different. They have a different focus.
Yes. And although this one's small, like I said, I think for the people who work or volunteer at any shelter, you have to have a heart. You really have to have a heart to want and a calling to do it. And the place in Lansing, when I walked in, they said they thought I was coming in to apply for a job. And I said, no, I was just bringing, making a donation, and they appreciated it. And then, but I got to they let me see the tour of the place there, and it was different. And that was where I said, Open Door is unique. It's very unique. It's not like the same cookie cutters that, thank God for the shelters that are in every city, because there's some places that don't have them. But like I said, it's very different.
And I think we're unique to our environment too.
Exactly.
Midland is not Lansing.
True.
Lansing experiences a lot of street homeless.
Yes.
And we have less issues. We still do have street homeless. We have less issues with street homelessness here. But part of that is because hopefully we're addressing some of those things before it gets there. Now, from being an employee here that people have to participate in their own recovery.
Exactly.
So there are times when people can't or won't stay in a shelter. And so we still want to serve people.
Yes.
We still want to help them if they need case management, if they need help with housing applications, if they need food, for sure.
Yeah.
We still want to be able to do that.
Right.
But, we're unique because Midland is unique.
That's true. That's true. So you just brought up the case management. So that still happens, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Like, I'm not that I didn't think it was, because it's a shelter.
Sure.
You do have the resources and everything. I just wondered, when you leave, you don't really know what all still happens.
Yep. All of our guests still get their hour of case management every week.
That's great.
And in dealing with those 6 areas of life that we all have to get under control. Everybody needs housing. Everybody needs employment or education. Everybody needs, like you said, relationship. How do we handle our relationships? What about our spiritual life? Everybody believes something, right?
True.
And so no matter what you believe, it does affect the way you live. And so it gives us the opportunity to introduce people to Jesus. To get to the level where you understand that someone else has control and knowledge of who you are and loves you and really does desire your best.
Exactly.
Talk about a weight just released.
Yeah.
To meet the Lord creates a whole different level of hope for people.
It does. He does.
And we know too that how people handle their finances, whether they're physically or mentally or emotionally ill. All of those things, if in whether you have a home or not, if a few of those things are out of balance, your life gets a little bit tricky.
That's true.
And so we know that everyone has to deal with that. So our guests need to deal with that too. And sometimes obviously the housing is out of whack. And so how do we help with the housing and other things?
Right. And like I said, those are hard questions that you have to ask, them. And otherwise, maybe in a different setting, if it was family asking them questions like that, they're just like, why, thinking you're being nosy. But
Right.
here it's, when you have, I say Jesus because we would have, open door does. It's like Jesus all over the place. It is.
Well, it's what we're called to do,
Yes,
right? We
exactly.
have been
It is.
loved in
It
a
is.
huge way.
Yes.
And so we
And
love too.
but we don't force it. That's the thing. You never force it, but he is present. He's always present. It's always like it's known. Everyone knows that, you're gonna get love at open door.
For sure.
And that love is like it's Jesus.
Yeah.
So, and which makes it easier, like when you ask those hard questions. It's no, that you're not just being nosy, it's I'm trying to help you
Right.
and gaining that trust. So no, this is so like I said, just going back to, like I said, my time here at Open Door, um, it's it started out, like I said, I didn't know what I was getting into at the beginning, but then it just turned into, like I said, just an extension of family. I am from a large family, but just always room to welcome more.
For sure.
Yeah, so
Well, I'm so glad that you stopped by tonight.
thank
and
you
that
for letting me.
agreed to chat with me.
Yes.
So, and I hope you continue on in the Open Door family for
Yes.
years to come,
Oh, yeah. So,
and that you keep asking us because, again, we feel like God does not fill hands that are already full.
oh,
And
that's-
so, you know what? If our community is very generous with us,
Mhm.
we also want to then share.
Yeah.
And
well,
so,
that's
when our
the
hands
thing.
are full, we
Yeah.
want to share with you.
Like I said, when the community of Midland, I mean, yes, when they pour into Open Door, it's like, um, well, Scripture says, heaven and earth will pass away, but my word will just continue to go on. And I look at that kind of like, when the donations or the people who have the heart to donate here, it doesn't just stop here. They are also hands reaching out to the different communities.
And many times
helping.
into other communities
Yes.
that don't have that kind
That's
of care.
Yes. So thankful for all of the volunteers, all the donors that continue, because they are helping the surrounding area.
Absolutely.
Yes. God bless them. God bless you all, and continue to bless Open Door.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Well, it was very good to have you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you asked.